I've been to see him. He looks a lot like you. Today at work, I was bored as shit. And I just let my mind wander as I typed away at my computer, doing fuck all. And when your mind wanders, you look at every aspect of your life. This work is really boring, but it's a little meditative in a way that because very little of it grabs my attention, and obviously I'm at work, I'm not going to use my phone to like really absorb most of my attention. Like, yeah, I have music in, or yeah, I have a podcast in, but eventually like it will fade away into the background too, and then you will start thinking to your life, thinking to yourself about your life or whatever pops in your head in that moment. It doesn't have to be about life. It can be about anything. And when it comes to thinking about life, there's a few things I think about. I've mentioned them a couple times before. I think about, what's the point? What's the purpose in all this? I think about, what's next for me. I think about, what other people are up to sometimes, or like wonder what they're doing if I don't talk to them no more. It's whatever phase of life, be it, career-based, academia, hobbies, and social. I think the part of my life that I always like kind of laugh to think about though, because there's never been any real ground in reality, is thinking about the life or the life. Thinking about life where I have a significant other. And I think it's funny. Well, funny is like not the right word I want to use. I think it's more peculiar, so it's not funny at all. It's just more of an observation. Like how much I think about the phrase, you don't like them, you just like the idea of them. I feel like we've all heard that in contemporary conversations about romantic pursuit. And I never really understood that phrase, and I don't claim to do. But I guess just today I felt like picking apart, or like really thinking about how that phrase is like applied to my life, in the way that I've engaged and conducted myself around like certain people, silly people that I have a bit of a crush on. It's not crush. It's 2026. You grown man. I fancy you. I'm infatuated. I fuck with you heavy. But I really want to think about that phrase because you look at it like I like the idea of somebody. Okay. So when I think of this person that I know in real life that I happen to like, I like the idea of them. So that must mean I like them. And when I imagine myself in, situations that involve a romantic partner, well, I'm heterosexual, so he says, she looks like you, she sounds like you, she talks like you, right? She must be her, right? It must be her. But I think that it can only go so far. There will always be dissonance there. I feel like infatuation is always such a fun emotion to discuss because it hides dissonance like way more than like any other type of formation of a relationship or friendship or whatever. You create such unique versions of people in your head that you would never do for anybody else. Like this so and so trait that you wouldn't even care about is suddenly like super fucking amazing to you because you happen to like them in real life or whatever. See, the thing about the idea though to me is I think she just looks like you. I think if I imagine fantasies that involve the other person, it's not really her. It's not really the person I like in that moment. I think as if like it's a unique experience to like gas up people in your head, but she just happens to share your face some days, and I think I interact with it. What I'm looking for here. I'm just gonna say it's tough. I don't know where I was gonna go with that statement, but dissonance is hard. I think it's hard to admit that you have dissonance for somebody. I think it's because when you like someone, they have such a different, you have such a different perspective of them. At least for me, as like a juvenile, like if I liked you, you probably could do no wrong. I probably could justify like whatever fucking dynamic we had or didn't have, and I'd probably play it up in my head or play down certain like things I didn't like about it in my head. Where the fuck am I going with this? Maybe I'm not going anywhere with this. To be honest, I don't have much else to say. I just think that sometimes this person isn't real, and I try to fit certain people into that box of my fantasy waifu, if you will. She just happens to look like so and so person. She just happens to sound like so and so person. But it's not them. And I think there are times in terms of fitting them into a box where I won't lie. I think I think that's when it creates like this weird, what's the word I'm looking for? Not obsession, but like kind of low key disappointment that you hate to admit that like you don't really act like the way I want you to act, right? It's kind of fucked up to say that because everyone's their own person and you've developed, a person that looks just like them but isn't them. So you don't get the response that you want because you've lived in this fantasy forever. That just happens to look like them. I think it hurts a bit. Like, bro, can you just like, I don't know, respond the way I want you to? Like this chat GPT. But no, I sort of can't do that. But I think I just like to think about stuff like this because I think it's affected my life like way more than I like to admit. I don't think I've ever really liked anybody like, well, for like all the marbles and like looking at it completely objectively. I don't think we've hit that. I don't think we've hit that point yet. I mean, it's like really hard to though, right? I feel like you have to actually like be with somebody to finally break the reality you have of them, not reality, the fantasy you have of them. So people all exist in people I romantically like will all exist in a strange, like, I think you look better in my head than in real life on no, like, insulting shit. But that's not, like, I don't know even why I say it's insulting. That's only insulting to me, really, that, I'm so down for something that isn't real that I will get upset at something that isn't real, you know? Because, like, they never signed up for that. They didn't ask for that. They never acted like that. But it's just, like, this person that I want, like, it just looks so close to, like, how you look. Right? When I say you, I'm talking in, like, as if I'm talking to, like, a third person that I happen to be interested in. Like, this isn't, like, meta commentary where I'm talking to someone specifically, you know. But I don't know. I think that bleeds into like everything else. Not everything else. I think it just bleeds into like adult, my more like current day views on liking somebody. I feel like you never get the chance to build that fantasy in your head, or if you do, it's built off such a shoddy foundation. It's like, oh, you saw them, you spoke to them like one time, and then you have like a whole life with them. But you don't know them. You don't know who they are, right? But I'm not saying we, like me. I think I'm just so starved of that aspect of the human experience that like all you can do sometimes is just go all in on a fantasy, right? And even when it like isn't real, sometimes you still act like it does. You still speak to this person in ways that's like kind of unbecoming, but you try so desperately to try and make it all fit and like what you developed in your head for it. It's not real. She's not real. She just looks like you. But it's hard to admit it, you know what I'm saying? Because like, yo, what the fuck else is there? You know? Yeah, this video is really fucking dumb. But it's my channel, so I can post whatever I want.